60, calling Delegate Wu, House Bill 147.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and Madam Vice Chair. For the record, I'm Delegate Cha Wu from District 9A. I will present HB 147 today, and I'm asking for a favorable report. This bill is co-sponsored by Delegates Grammer, T. Morgan, Poster, and Patterson. HB 147 is an important piece of legislation aimed at improving the educational experience for elementary school and middle school students in Maryland. The bill proposes a policy that prohibits elementary and middle school students from using the cellular phone and other personal electronic devices during the school day, except under certain circumstances. By eliminating the use of these devices, the bill seeks to reduce cyberbullying, foster face-to-face communication, and encourage active participation in classroom activities. While technology plays a vital role in our lives, young students often need guidance to use these devices appropriately in school environment. HB 147 aims to remove these distractions and create a more focused and productive learning space. Research shows that unrestricted device access in schools often leads to decreased academic performance and increased distractions. According to a 2021 study by Common Science Medium, 64% of teens report feeling pressure to respond to a notification during school hours, disrupting their focus and classroom engagement. Studies have also indicated that constant use of personal devices contribute to higher stress levels and reduce attention spans among students, and it even increases pressure to adults like delegates as well. So I want to say we have seen positive impact while we see some restrictions in schools. And some schools that adopt a policy which restricts use of cell phones see a 15% increase in student participation and a 10% improvement in standardized test scores. The evidence points to a clear conclusion regarding device use. Reducing distractions in classroom leads to improved academic outcomes. Furthermore, personal device prohibition will help combat the growing problem of cyberbullying. A report from the National Center for Educational Statistics found that schools with unrestricted device access had a 30% higher rate of cyberbullying compared to those with device-free policies. By limiting students' access to personal devices, HB 147 aims to foster a safer and a more respectful learning environment. The mental health benefits of device-free policies are also noteworthy. Excessive screen time, especially social media use, is linked to a higher rate of anxiety and depression among adolescents. A study published in the Journal of Abnormal Psychology revealed that teens who spend more than 3 hours a day on screens are much higher risk for mental health issues. By removing this use of personal devices in school, HB 147 provides students with a healthier, distraction-free environment that promotes emotional well-being. Teachers have also reported significant improvement in classroom dynamics in schools that implement device bans. A survey conducted by the Pew Research Center found that 73% of teachers observed a more effective collaboration and communication among students when personal devices were not allowed. One lawmaker in New York State who implemented cell phone bans in her district shared that social media often let students cut off from human connection and normal classroom activity. There have been statewide restrictions in many other states, including Pennsylvania, Virginia, Delaware, Ohio, Indiana, South Carolina, Alabama, Florida, Oklahoma, Minnesota, Utah, and California. Additionally, the bill also allows exemption for specific circumstances, such as medical needs or educational purposes, as determined by school administration. Finally, there is no physical note for this bill. So in conclusion, HB 147 is to address the challenges posed by the unrestricted personal device use in school. By reducing this, We're promoting a safer environment and supporting mental health. This bill will help us ensure that in Maryland public school system, we have the best possible conditions for our students for their academic and personal success. It has already proven effective in other districts, and I believe it will have a positive impact here as well. Thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Delegate Young.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Delegate Wu, for the bill. Two quick questions. The first question, in Section B, you omit existing policies limiting cell phone usage, but then your bill requires every other board to do a policy that prohibits. Is there a reason of the distinction, and why wouldn't the new boards also be in a posture of limiting or regulating as opposed to making them prohibit?
I think this bill is really trying to create a consistent cell phone usage bill among the whole public school in Maryland. So some schools maybe have a little different cell phone policy. I want them kind of consistent across the whole state. Yeah,
I think that's the challenge I have, right, is if Baltimore City is limiting and then Montgomery County is now mandated to prohibit, then you got an incongruency. And so I would want to see that the language is the same where the limiting could be, I mean, that's just a nuance. The second question I have is having to do with advancing new technologies. Are you expecting for these to also include smart glasses, AR glasses, et cetera, like that?
I think that's part of a discussion we're going to have, and I really don't see much benefit at this moment. There are smart glasses or AI glasses, and definitely I think a student can enjoy that for academic purpose. Maybe the school can allow that for a certain time, but I don't see the prevalence usage during school hour.
Yeah.
There's the liberty or freedom the school administration can choose, but it's really by default, it's not allowed. That's the intention of the bill.
I think we could talk a little bit more about what some of the capabilities that are being developed and that even exist today are, and to help, I think, tighten up that piece to make sure that it is incorporated, because I don't think those are fully incorporated, although it says including in this broad language. You could be a little more tailored on it, and then I think that we could talk about, you know, what it could look like as it pertains to the good use cases.
Sure, I agree with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any further questions? Delegate Ebersol.
You're just following up on Delegate Young's question line. It's a good one, because it does, ones that have an existence might not have it as restrictive as what we're suggesting in the bill. But beyond that, maybe we could amend this bill to have language that would allow for technologies that we can't possibly guess are going to be ones that will be insidious in the future. You've named the ones that exist, but once we put it in law, then we would have to update the law. So I don't know if you'd be amenable to that or not.
Thank you, Delegate Ebersol. I agree with you, right? So because the long list, maybe we're not able to cover, or the technology moves forward quickly. Personally, myself, I actually worked in the AR domain. So I show the students, I went to the classroom, show students a really wonderful thing with the AR. And all the kids love it, right? They see new technology, see the virtual reality, they really love it. When I put the goggle on and then look at that, they really love it. I think the point is we don't want this new technology, or we're really kind of so prevalent in the classroom, which become a distraction. If the school, for example, they feel there's a need for educational purpose, they definitely can bring in these kind of devices for educational purpose. But this bill is really trying to say we need to have some limit when and how the student use this new technology. Once the technology too embedded in their personal life, which had been a distraction, and sometimes put that pressure on their mental health.
Delegate Miller.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for the bill. I certainly appreciate it. It looks like through reading through the testimony, and they may be coming up to testify, but a lot of the local school systems are already either have the policies in place or different policies that meet the needs of their community. 19 out of 24, it looks like MSDE is getting ready to make some statewide recommendations. And then there was some concern, which I didn't know if I saw in your bill. Yeah, it said about the IEPs and the 504 program, so those students would still be allowed to use it. So do you feel like the bill might preempt some of the local work that's being done, or some of the work with MSDE that would be getting done with them getting ready to come out with some guidance on this?
Thank you, Delegate Miller. I agree with that. So there's some counties that are doing analysis, right? They're working on this kind of policy. I think some counties are not catching up with the policy definition. So this bill will really help them to say, okay, we want a statewide policy, which will be consistent across Maryland. I believe having a consistent policy on this important issue will help, because some parents and some students actually move around in this whole state, or they work in one county, but the kids maybe go to school in another counties. By having a consistent policy, that will be addressing a lot of issues that we're facing.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions from the committee? Okay, seeing none, thank you, Delegate Wu.
Thank you.
That concludes the hearing on House Bill 147.